Hello and welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'm Lotra's community manager, Cordovan, and it's been a couple of weeks since we last hung out on Twitch, but I'm happy to be here. Have some latest news, talk a little bit about the Midsummer Festival, some of the rewards. I'll show it off on stream here, and then I think we'll head into my play account a little bit later on and just start running through the new story. So we'll see how that goes. Hope you're having a good one. It's been a busy couple of weeks in the world of Lord of the Rings Online. We released Update 36, and this week, on Wednesday, we released a patch to it, Update 36.0.1. So I thought I'd run through a little bit of the release notes here just to comment about anything that comes up. We fixed some appearances for a specific Bjorning subtype of armor, and fix a cosmetic pet name. Added the brown cow and black bull pets to the collections panel, and a few other cosmetic things like that as well. You can now fish all across the new King's Gondor, so that's pretty cool. And we have a few other kind of bits of polish related to Update 36, Gondor Renewed as well. I guess I'm not going to read all of this. You can find it over on Lotra.com. But it was really just a follow-up patch to our Update 36 patch the week prior. And we have another patch not this next week. At least currently right now we don't have one scheduled for next week. But in 2 weeks we have a 0.0.2 that we're going to be working on. I would assume it's just a little bit more kind of polished things that come up between now and then, including something I guess I can get to here in just a second. And then we worked on some stuck spots and physics issues that we were able to notice once we went live with Update 36. Did a little bit of localization work as well. Now over on the Siege mechanic, PvMP side on the Ettenmoors, we've disabled these schematics until the Siege tech is actually in. Some of it slipped into the game, and so we had to disable that. I did want to mention we are right now, at this hour, we started work on this, I guess, about 30 minutes ago, where it's come to our attention that we have a bug specific to the landscape difficulty system that we're working to resolve. The issue is that if you're defeated, the token reward effect is getting cleared off of you unless you relog or teleport. So you're not earning tokens after you're defeated in landscape difficulty unless you relog or teleport. Now we have an effect that's supposed to be not doing this, and everything appears to be correct, which is why we were a little stymied here over the past 20 minutes trying to figure out, okay, so why is this doing this then? Nonetheless, we do have a couple of options. We do know a fix that we can do. We have checked in a fix, essentially a refresh of it, but that's going to take a patch. We're also working on the ability to implement a server command, perhaps even this afternoon, that'll also resolve this issue. So it could be, really, by the time you're watching this video afterwards, that the issue's already resolved. But in the meantime, literally for like the next couple of hours here, most likely, if you are defeated and you have a landscape difficulty set 3 or higher, you're going to want to relog quick or teleport in order to get that effect put back on you so you can start earning your reward tokens again. This came to us as, why am I not getting reward tokens? Why is the drop rate so low? And we were able to dig into that this morning and finally find the culprit of what's going on. So what's happening is that an effect is getting dropped off your character that should not be when you're defeated. So we do have, like I say, some server commands we're investigating at this hour. We got QA kind of working to see if it actually works and what have you. If that works, that'll be the greatest solution temporarily, because we could just run it. No one's going to do anything, and it's just going to start working. But if that doesn't work out here in the next half hour or so, until we can get a patch in, you're going to just need to relog quick if you're defeated on a higher landscape difficulty to get your token rewards, and that sucks. We don't like the solution either, but that may be the solution if this thing that we're working on doesn't work. So we'll figure out what's going on and have more specific messaging that'll get out on the forums and website and probably even the game launcher for this one, social media and everything later. But just for now, that's what's going on. Breaking news, as they say. So All right, so we did just have the patch this week, and you can find the release notes over on Locher.com. The other bit I wanted to mention is that we do have some new store offers. These debuted, they debuted a little bit ago, but they're still active, and they're just going to be in the game. So I wanted to make sure on stream here that I called out the Elrond's Tracery Collection, level 140, Legendary Item Builder Set, level 140, and the Library Starter Pack. These are planned to be basically permanently in the Lotra stores, so it's not like a limited time offer where you only got a little bit of time to decide whether you want to jump on it or not. But we do have a page set up so you can get all sorts of information about what's going on. The other thing I guess I would mention, I wonder if I can click through now that I'm actually... Yeah, I can! Can't do this in OBS, but it seems to be working here. So, oops, accept. Can I... I'm not sure it's going to let me scroll. It isn't. And that's just going to shrink it. All right, well, let me just put something else on the screen here. What's up? There we go. I wanted to mention that the Midsummer Festival is here, and that's running through July 4th. It'll be shut off at 3 a.m. Eastern on July 5th. You can find a guide to the Midsummer Festival over on Locher.com. We have a link to it throughout all the places. And so that's going through July 4th. And it's all new rewards this time around. Well, not all new. The older stuff is still available too, but it's got new rewards, including music stand, instrument racks, like some outdoor concert things that we'll take a look at here in just a couple of minutes. We got some concert cloaks, boots, capes, tunics, Warsteed cosmetics. There's a summer concert steed here that I'll show off in just a second. And the Tome of the Summer Concert Firefly. It's a repurposed Hobbit present gift from the wedding. I did see that thread on the forums this week about why don't we bring back the Midsummer Hobbit gifts. That's something we're looking into. I don't have anything to announce today, but we've heard a few of you want it, and so we're taking a look to see if we can do that. Let me take a look at chat here. No, so Gin, sorry about that. I just got back from paid time off yesterday, and Sev has a busy plan ahead this weekend, so I can't remember if I had said now whether Sev was going to be on this week or next week, but I think it'll be next week. And I'll get word out on social media and that sort of thing once I have an opportunity to sit down with him and double-check his schedule and make sure that it's going to work. But we're going to have a Sev on here for just a general Q&A. Most likely next week would be my guess. So, can I confirm whether King's... Why is that not displaying for me correct? King Elisar's Harold Glyndor is meant to look like Sapiens. I thought he looked like Mark Hamill, but the other resemblance is now being debated. I'll take a look at that here in a little bit, and you can decide for yourself. I don't think it was deliberate. And yeah, for guides, if you don't want to use our guide for the Midsummer Festival, Fibro Jedi always has really good guides. You can find those over on the Twitter page, his Twitter feed, and fibro.jedi fibrojedi.uk. Sorry, Fibro. Screwing up your URL. But that's what we got going on. So I think those are the main beats. Other than, I would call out quick that we do have special sales. We're kicking off our summer sales a little bit early this year. Just timing and other factors, other things that we got going on in the pipeline in July made it so that we wanted to do the summer sales really starting this week instead of through July. So we got kind of a good one for this week. 35% off the 130 Valar level boost, half off, 50% off the 120 Valar level boost, 75% off select quest packs. And that's going through next Thursday. And then each week we're going to have special sales as well. So head on over to Lotra.com or the Lotra forums, your preference really, or social media. We post it there too, or the launcher. We post it there too. And you'll be able to figure out what our special sales are each week here for the next 5 weeks. 5? Yes. Well, I think it's 5 weeks. Let me double check that. One, two, three, four. Yes, 5 weeks. So we have special sales really running through July 13th here this year. Will the landscape difficulty be applied to classic instances? This is a question from chat. I've not heard of any intention to do that. I think the intention is to keep it landscape. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like too much of a pitch person here, but I agree that that's a pretty good Valar value. So if you've been kind of hanging off on picking up a Valar till it goes on sale, it's on sale. So maybe consider it. All right, I'm gonna head over in game here real quick and turn back up my music just a little bit. I just kind of picked up a rando house here on my admin character so I could show off the new housing items. I put them in my inventory here, and let's go check a few of these things out. So the first one I really want to check out is this concert. Uh-oh. Why do I do this to myself? Is it dais or dais? I guess I always said dais. And under the assumption that I'm usually wrong about pronouncers, perhaps it's dais. Stage. There we go. So you can now have a pretty cool concert stage. I like this as well because it doesn't have a backdrop. So for those of you who, prefer to back out and kind of place things like that, this stage might work out really well. It's a theater in the round as well, I suppose, if you want to consider it that way. This is the pristine Eresian column. You can add to your yard here. We've got the Eresian Rotunda. Ooh. Looking pretty good. Definitely suiting this Cape of Belphilus housing. Here's a gazebo tower. Kind of funny that it'll come in this smaller yard space, but that might be a good thing. That's pretty cool. Check out chat here. I'll just put that tower up. Will the new difficulty healing AoE fields remain as currently implemented? Because in the past, difficulty will only punish solely players with difficulty activated. I've partnered with a player who hadn't difficulty active for an instance, and he suffered from the healing of the boss as much as I did. Seems not right to me. Sounds like something we'll have to look into. First off, you said you're in an instance. And if you're talking about the landscape difficulty, then I'm not sure why that would be in effect in an instance. So that sounds like that might be a bug. But it is true that the difficulty system affects, spawns on the landscape around you. So perhaps that, that aspect of it is working as intended. Otherwise, I'm going to have to really kind of kick it to the team for further consideration. I'm not sure really what the answer is on that. speaking of, let's go the other size and put a tiny sign in, or a music stand in there. But that's cool, though. We got a music stand. I'll go in furniture yard, mobile yard. I'm just putting it here because it was open space. And while we're at it, let's get the... Actually, is that the second one? Oh, no, that was the other column. Okay. Alright, well, why don't I briefly head inside then, and we'll take a look at some of the wall spaces here. Just for ease of getting this done, I just found an open house and went for it. But, you may... So I don't read too much into where the location is, I just picked an open one. So we have instrument racks for various instruments. You can have your guitar rack. I think that is the housing items. Let me take a look. Got these cloaks and things as well. So let's head into the cosmetic outfits and take a look at that. A flowery cloak. And per usual, it's got hooded and non. Got some matching boots to go with it. Look like boots. Cap. Let me swap over to the non-hooded so you can see it. And a tunic that'll go along with it as well. We have a summer concert firefly. That's the one that's the repurposed Hobbit Gifts one. Where did I... Probably showed up in my inventory. Where did that go? No. I'm not seeing it. Let's just call it up. There we go. So it's, it's a little glowy firefly that'll follow you around. And then, of course, we have the gift-wrapped versions of them that you can give to other folks. I'll head back outside and take a look at the steed and mount. So first off, this is the regular mount, the summer steed. And then I will check out the war steed version. I put on the cosmetics on the war steed already here, I think. Or did I? I might have missed a few. No, I got them all on here. So you can see kind of the war steed version on just a basic war steed here. Right. Yeah, so I will have to check into, like I said, I've been on time off here for a week, so I'm trying to have to get caught up on a few things. I am so landscape difficulty applies for solo duo, which does include some instances like Woe of the Willow, Chamber of Shadows, and Sarkthorn. Okay. So in areas where the landscape difficulty system would apply and provide its proper benefits for doing so, then I would assume that the debuffs associated with higher difficulties and the various, Eye of Sauron effect and things like that would also be working as intended to apply. And it is true that if you're, say, in a duo group with someone, then that's going to apply to people who you are with, and that too is working as intended. So to the extent that the question is it working as intended that debuffs happen if I'm in a group with someone who's got a higher difficulty, even if I have not personally selected that higher difficulty? I believe the answer is yes. Dantrog28 asks, what's the status on the new forums? What you looking for? The new forums have been here since May 3rd. They're going pretty well. I ran into a weird bug this week that I'm trying to figure out. I'm working with someone over on the platform team, actually, right now. I started doing that yesterday to try to figure out what the heck's going on. I have a specific staff tracker bug that cropped up over on the other game side yesterday. And I'm not sure what's causing it. All of a sudden, on the DDO side, the staff tracker disappeared. I mean, you could click on it, but no results are being returned. And I don't actually know what's up with that yet. We were poking at it for about an hour and a half yesterday evening, and couldn't figure out... Well, we thought we had the solution, except that I don't think we do. So we're still looking into it. But other than that, the new forums are up and running and going pretty well. We have like a profile section for kind of a more blog-style posts, and the number of posts being made to them are doing quite good. So we actually have a whole bunch of people who weren't posting previously who are posting now, and that's pretty awesome. Sev just tweeted, they found 2 big sources of lag in Lord of the Rings Online, and they're working on getting them squashed and inside of the game. Yes, I've mentioned that myself, that we have had an engineer tasked with focusing on game performance in the Lord of the Rings Online for a little while now, and that is true, that has been happening. And we do have a few things that are being implemented here in the relatively near future. I would assume we're probably talking update 37. If everything goes well and it kind of clears through testing and such really quickly, perhaps it'll get into a point patch. But I would assume we're looking at mostly update 37 here for these game performance fixes, because they tend to be a little bigger in scope, both for testing and implementation. But in general, it falls along the same lines of what we've been talking about, which is we're targeting ways to improve efficiency with the way the game communicates with itself, and improving systems that were set up to handle a large number of, perhaps a large number of effects, and large in 2012 or whatever is not the same as large in 2023. So, maybe a system was designed to handle up to 10,000 of a thing, and it's currently being asked to handle 110,000 of a thing. And so we're finding ways to improve, or in some cases refactor, essentially, the way that it's communicating with itself. I don't specifically know which specific bug fixes Sev might be talking about. Like I said, I've been out of the office this week, so I was not part of the regular weekly meeting where that would have been discussed. Are the old forum posts lost forever? No. They still exist at forums-old.lotro.com. So if you go to forums-old.lotro.com, if you want to go specifically there, it's forums-old.lotro.com/forums. And you can access all the old forums. For the most part, private messages are no longer available, but the rest of it's there. And copy over any posts you want to, and just access it long term. And any old links can be made into new links by by putting forums-old where it was just forums. So if your old thread was forums.lotro.com/whatever, it'll now be forums-old.lotro.com/whatever. Yes, I'm aware the launcher community button needs to be updated. I had actually thought we were in the process of doing that this past week, but it maybe just slipped through the task list. That just we can do it, I think, temporarily, and it involves a game update to actually change it. So I would expect to see that here in the near future. Was it at one time mentioned that the icons for buffs, debuffs also contributed to lag? Probably not. Now, buffs and debuffs might contribute to lag, but the icons, probably not. Speaking of launcher, how is that update coming along? It's going pretty well. I was in a meeting yesterday where we were showing off some of the new launcher internally and debating and discussing some of the features of it. I think in general what you're going to find is that it looks a little bit more like in terms of the kind of news and information section of it, it looks more like the Lotro.com front page currently. All this is subject to change, but currently it's a box. It's a launcher box, but instead of having sort of a weird side image that has to be crafted together from various pieces and then kind of an old school text crawl at the bottom, it mimics much more closely the Lotro.com front page, and in some cases is just the Lotro.com front page. And there's a whole bunch of other things involved in the launcher as well. I focus, obviously more on the news and comments section of it. But there's a lot of better features and tech and engineering in the new launcher. We don't have an ETA to announce yet. It's still being worked on. It'll go through internal testing and then external testing as well before it would go live. But it is being worked on and progress is being made. So, yeah. I agree. Overall, especially when things are work in progress, you don't want to commit to too much at this point. But it definitely looks a lot cleaner and more functional based on what I've seen so far. Yeah, so, Goldwyn, it's weird. We don't quite know, well, I don't want to say we don't know what's going on with the staff tracker on the forums. We're investigating it, but we haven't yet found the culprit as to what's going on. We thought maybe it was related to an issue so I got back from break, and then I had to clear out all the reported posts and spam queue and all that sort of thing. And so I spent a couple hours doing that yesterday. And typically when I go through a bunch of reported posts, I then mark them as complete and then move them into a completed section of the administrative side of the forums. And the outage of the staff tracker appears to have coincided with me moving a bunch of reported post threads into that subsection of the administrative side of the forums. Except I'd been doing that like on a daily basis since May 3rd, so I don't really know what changed this time around. And we haven't really figured out what change this time around yet, so I can't really tell you what's going on. I know that new post, though, everything I made after I did that, is showing up again on the staff tracker. But it seems like I might have caused some sort of overload of the system or something like that when I mass moved a bunch of threads. There were reported posts come across as threads over on the administrative side of the forums. And so I don't know what's up. You know, it's not like we have our reported posts, internal administrative stuff in the staff tracker, so... But that seems to have been, nonetheless, I did the thing, and then the thing broke, so we're still working on it, and we'll see what happens. UI work is definitely continuing to be worked on. I have nothing really further to say about the timing or anything of that. It's always slower than we'd hope. Is two-factor authentication still part of the new launcher project? Yes and... Oops. Here we go. Yes and no is the answer to that. Yes. Although it's not... It's more than just the new launcher project. Because it's semi-independent. But I think it'll debut at or around the same time. You recently came back to the game, and your old characters are no longer accessible, possibly due to being on a removed server. How often does Locho offer character retrieval from those servers? We do not, currently. There has been a long in the works, like years-long project to bring back those old dead servers. So back in what, 2013 or 13 to 15, when they were initially shuttered, we left them open for years for people to transfer their characters from. And then when we updated our servers to be 64-bit servers, those older servers were not able to accept the new technology. So there's a big, it will be a big project to make them compatible with the game again so that we could offer them in the future. But it's not a high priority for us because most folks have already had, they had something like 4 to 5 years to get that work done. So I don't know if you're on an old server, if you're going to be able to transfer your characters in the future. It's something we'd love to do. It's something that years ago I said we would do, but unfortunately has not really been able to happen. So we'll see if we're able to do that in the future. All right, so let's take a look. Does this guy look like Sapiens? I don't think this really looks like Sapiens. So I'm going to say no on that. What? I mean, it's bearded guy, I guess. But that's about the extent of it. If I'm a little snuffly, it's because I'm in New England. You've probably been seeing on the news about how all the smoke and air pollution from the Canadian wildfires has dropped over into New England through New York City. It is no joke. It is no joke. The last couple of days have just been a little frightening, to be honest. IRL. Seeing what our potential polluted future might look like if things go real bad. I myself, I don't know if I can... I don't think I've got it with me. I actually made one of those Corsi Rosenthal boxes, if you know what that is. Otherwise known to Google as a box fan air filter. So this week, my son and I made a box fan air filter to try to help with air quality inside of the house. And I have to say, it's been working pretty good. But I'm still a little snuffly and what have you. So if I'm a little snuffly and sneezy, that's why. The air quality absolutely sucks around here right now. It is not okay. I am also not hearing my own. Are you hearing my game audio? I'm not hearing my game audio. Let me double check this. Oh, that's why. There we are. Okay, good. You see the Oculus? There you go. My son picked up a MetaQuest 2. And so we've been hooking that up to the computer and checking it out. We accomplished much good in the fight against Mordor and the forces of Sauron, Stampion, and prevented the triumph of terrible evil, the War of the Ring, for so I have heard it called in the days since its ending, has left its mark upon us and our lands. Our victory came at great costs, and the losses suffered in its achievement still wound we who remain, perhaps always will. Yet, if I can ease the hurt of my kingdom, I would do it. Can I count upon you to help me with this aim? Yup.
But my queen worries for my safety on such a tour.
Well, they are not my worries alone, dear one. The Council has expressed similar concerns.
Is this true? Thalhir, what says my Warden of the Laws?
I hesitate to mention it, my king, for I understand the majority of your people are overwhelmed with happiness at the conclusion of the war and your marriage. Don't want to spoil things. But there have been whispers of discontent in the city following your marriage. Few, but some. I'm sure they will disappear in time, but as of yet they remain. I have heard tell from other members of the council, people in the lower circles of the city speak wishfully of the heirs of Castamere, praying for their return and believing they soon will.
The heirs of Castamere? Surely they were all slain during the war.
Aye, to be certain. We witnessed the death of their leader Balakor at Pelagia.
He met his end at the cold blades of the dead.
You know this to be true? Are you certain he had no sons or daughters to take up his cause?
Well,
I suppose I am not certain of that.
My husband so greatly desires to speak with his people and mend the pain of the hurts they suffered. I turn then to you, and those others who hold him dear. I ask you, Legolas, Gimli too, where Elisar wishes to venture, I ask you travel there first, with your ears listening and eyes sharpened. Look for any sign that the heirs of Castamere remain a danger to the kingdom or the king, and make the path he plans to travel as secure as you may.
When these three return with tidings that the heirs are truly defeated, then I will be content for you to travel your kingdom, my husband.
I think such caution is needless. But if this is your will, I shall oppose it not. What say you, my friends?
Go ahead, keep the towns and cities, go ahead, basically, as emissaries. When we've determined the heirs of Castamere are of no real danger, you will return, and then he'll go. Going to Harlow. How was vacation? It was very chill. I didn't do anything in particular. I picked up my son for the summer. Here, I share custody with his mother, and so he's been hanging with me, and we basically just did some summer stuff, hang out in the yard. I got some yard and housework done that I had to get done. We've been playing some video games together and doing things like that. But it was really a recuperative vacation rather than any kind of travel thing. I have not taken much vacation over the past couple of years, really. A little bit, but not that much. And just really needed some time away. Especially on... well, everyone needs vacation. I don't want to say I'm anything special. But I think anyone who spends enough time dealing with other people online knows that occasionally you need a mental health break. And so that's all this was, is just me taking a little downtime to sort of decompress a little bit.
We have come to the south
And spend time with my son for the start of his school break.
I do not think this expedition of ours will take that long.
Alright, looks like we're heading into Harlow here. Want to say hi to people on the stream? Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, there you go.
Welcome to the
I don't know, I haven't seen the kitty. Yeah.
It's not back there, surprisingly.
Hello, hello. If you have come looking for one of my famous toy ships, you are
Oh, yeah?
out of luck,
Yeah.
my friend.
I got the world's greatest cat box. Maybe I'll have to show you at some point here on stream. But there's currently a kitty inside of it.
Yeah.
Any chance to re-explore drops? You're specifically talking about Twitch drops, I assume they're Bloodborne. I have heard of no plans to integrate the Twitch-specific API into the game. I'm not saying that there wouldn't be value in doing it. I think if we were to consider adding Twitch's API, we'd probably want to look at a wide variety of other companies' offerings as well, right? Twitch isn't the only player in the space, and you know, you don't want to hitch your horse just to one social network, as it were. But perhaps a wider series of API integrations might make some sense. And then if we did something like that, perhaps, you know, perhaps playing Twitch's drops games and such might make sense for us. You know, there are people who enjoy checking out Twitch drops. So it would be something that we'd want to do. At the moment, though, I don't know that there's a whole lot of interest or will in integrating the Twitch API. But perhaps in the future, at some point, there will be. Someone is saying they want to shout out Maid of Lion's excellent writing about the consequences of war. I thank you. I will pass that along. What's the news on Runekeepers getting that cosmetic potato? It is big news. Yes, I don't know the answer. I did forward it to QA to file it as a bug that Runekeepers can't wield it. That's really the latest news on it. I know Runekeepers are in a strange cosmetic equipable state in general. And perhaps there's something we could do more holistically there. Someone is saying, I've yet to get Lotro to work in VR. I have not seen Lotro in VR, but I have seen the other game in VR. There are some people who have been able to make it somehow figure it out. There's some big issues, and trying to play either, I would assume Lotro would have the same problem as Dungeons and Dragons Online did, which is that, on the screen here, you look to like the lower left in that bar, right? There's a hot bar and everything, and it's spaced a distance away from you based on your screen, and so it looks normal. But when you're in VR, it's sort of right in your face in a way that is exceptionally distracting. So we would need, there's a whole bunch of things that would need to be done to make the game suitable for VR, but one of the bigger roadblocks to any kind of conversions that users have figured out is that the user interface it's too much. It's overwhelming. Like the way the way it was described to me is the game plays great in VR, except you would never actually want to play it like that because of the UI elements kind of blocking your field of view and all the other sorts of things. But in terms of the technology, apparently there's a way to get it working. So. Yeah, and then the movement issue as well. Well, that's a general VR thing, for those who don't know. VR has real concerns when it comes to nausea, and most of that is a brain disconnect, visual disconnect that happens when you're walking or moving. Like just general WASD style movement in VR tends to cause heavy nausea because your own body is standing still and your brain is seeing movement, and it like in my case, it takes seconds, literally just seconds before I'm like, I can't. I'm gonna vomit if I don't stop immediately. And so a lot of games tend to solve that problem with teleportation mechanics. You've got in your controller here a little line that'll show up and it'll tell you where you're teleporting to, and then you click a button and you just teleport there. And that tends to prevent heavy nausea. But any kind of fast movement style games would be a real concern, I think, if you wanted to do something like that. I have seen Ozelia's comment and someone else's comment saying that shared storage may or may not be on sale. Now, I know shared storage is supposed to be on sale. Select Vault and shared storage is at 25% off as part of the rotating store, carry, and share sale that is active right now. I'm going to have to ping the store team afterwards and say, hey, check the shared storage, make sure it's actually for sale. Is there a... Typically, the way it goes is that the newest stuff is not on sale, the older stuff is, when it comes to storage sales. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about, or if it's just as an entire category, shared storage is not functioning. So, or not discounted, rather. Can we get new supporter packs soon? The most recent one wasn't that long ago. It was pretty recent that we did a supporter pack. And then right now, we've got the library coffers and that sort of thing, which are supporter pack-like. They're not formally being given a name supporter pack, but they're kind of like supporter packs. That would be the Elrond's Tracery Collection, the Legendary Item Builder Set, and the Library Starter Pack. All three of those just went on sale within the past week or so. So that is the current supporter pack, you could call it, that's on sale. But a more formal supporter pack, like the initial one we did, is something that I would expect to see us do at some point in the future. We turn none away who desire to help cleanse the South Harbor of the filth left behind by the orcs of Mordor. The land remembers the scars. It is up to its people to stitch them up. Begin by cleaning up rubble piles in Harlow earlier today, and that sort of thing. Also some rats.
As you can see, the city is working to pick itself up after being nearly razed to the ground by the Morgul host.
I'm not a total stranger to VR myself. I've had a PlayStation VR for quite a while. But my son has been interested in the Meta Quest 2. And so I was recently just checking out Facebook Marketplace and saw someone was getting rid of one of theirs. And so I went and picked that up at a pretty nice discount. So I've been checking out the Meta Quest 2, and I have to say it's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. In many ways, it's leaps and bounds beyond that PSVR 1.
You were of great help during the war.
Specifically as it relates to things like tracking of your hands and face and all the rest. And of course, we're entering future eras, aren't we? Everyone's been there. This is a big week for that kind of thing. Apple announced their dealio. The Quest 3's coming. Yeah, the portability is another thing. And the ability to just hook it up to your PC and play Steam games and things like that. Yeah, and none of that was really possible under PSVR. So. Yep. Oh. Where am I supposed to take that crate of carrots? Where am I supposed to take that crate of carrots? I forgot. Oh no. Where even is that? Lokur. Okay, where's Lokur? I forgot what I was doing. This is what I get for wandering around on stream. Oh, here we go. Okay. Head north. This ain't it. Yeah, let me do that. What Mumax of Harlow. Okay. Alright. So I did see the stuff about game porting Toolkit. I am friends with a indie developer who makes a lot of kind of mobile style games on iOS, and they were asking me a little bit about the announcement this week that I saw from Apple, and it specifically has to do with some of the long-term hassles that have existed in trying to utilize GPU and CPU resources in the Mac operating system. It's one of the
Did you hear that? You have made
many reasons why
excellent. Thank you for
you don't see quite as many games get released on iOS. And my understanding is they're making some real progress there, so that could be real cool. I thought, oh, it wasn't over here. It was over this way. Oh, while I'm here, let me talk to the stable master.
Hello there.
But since I'm not really much of a person who knows much about actual, say, game development in terms of CPU, GPU engineering, there's only so much I can speak to it.
Well, it's about time Opener sent someone to help me.
It is cool, though. You know, I am a little bit of a VR nerd because I've been into it for a few years now. And I have to say that $3,500 headset sure is expensive, but sure is nice. It's pretty impressive stuff. The thing that just really kind of blows my mind in both good and bad ways is that, like, you allegedly see your eyes, like someone looking at you in the headset will see your eyes moving around, but they're not actually your eyes. It's a fictional representation of your eyes that are also being tracked and mimicked on camera. It's weird. It's weird. It feels like something out of a William Gibson novel. Alright, well, we are at 1 o'clock, so I wrap things up here in just a couple of minutes. Hope you're having a great weekend. We do, have Midsummer kicking off. I'll probably run the Midsummer Festival in the future on stream here, maybe one of these future weeks, but I didn't want to get too far behind on the news story. So I wanted to make sure while I was on stream, because I've been doing other stuff lately, to at least show off a little bit of the new stuff. Hope you're having a great weekend. Hope you're having a great almost summer. Summer actually begins next week. right? In the northern hemisphere here. It just feels like summer.
It's summer for me.
It is. It's summer vacation. People are talking about tech toys. I do have a new tech toy, by the way. I think I can't remember if I brought this up 2 weeks ago. It's amazing. You take a week off, and all of a sudden you forget. It's like 2 weeks ago was like 7 years ago. I have no idea what I did 2 weeks ago. It was all in the before days. Before I took a week off days. And, so I don't remember if I brought this up or not, but I'm kind of into RC cars. And I picked up a crawler for the first time ever. I don't know if you know anything about that, but for those who do, it's basically meant to go over rocks and on trails and up hills and handle things that your typical cars would not. Got a whole bunch of tech in it. They've gotten so fancy. And I'm having a really fun time with that. My son and I did take it out while I was out on break here, and that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Very recommended. First heat wave of the year. So we had that. We had our first heat wave at the very start of last week, I think it was. It got up to like 95 in Massachusetts here in early June, which is pretty unusual. But ever since then, it's been surprisingly chill. Yeah, it's like highs in the upper 50s, low 60s, which has been kind of great for summer, honestly. But a little weird for the time of the year. All right, well, I think I'll just stop it here then, and we'll continue. I'll wrap up some of this maybe during the off week and see you next Friday with a little bit more. Although I expect next Friday, assuming everything works out, I think next Friday is going to be a chat with Sev. So we'll have Severlin on just to do general Q&A. I don't think we have anything actual, like, we're not scheduling this because we have an announcement. We're just scheduling this because it's been a little while since our executive producer was on Court of the Rings and on Twitch, and we just wanted to give you an opportunity to ask questions directly to him and things like that. So, you can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotroStream. We have got, I believe, the Tolkien Professor up next, and then Druid's Fire. And then you can find Big Ed Mustafa and Friday night, probably doing fishing in the new King's Gondor, I would assume. And otherwise, hope you're having a great weekend. Thanks for welcoming me back, and I will talk to you again in a week. Have fun.